Sebastian Martinez, MMAnytt. We're here with Jessin Ayari, who fights Jim Wallhead here in UFC Hamburg. So, Jessin, before this fight, you defeated Mikkel Lebu, the ex-UFC fighter, and that pushed up your win streak pretty nicely. After your win against Lebu, were you expecting the UFC to call you?
Yes, of course, I was expected. I'm in contact with the UFC since 1 year before the fight against Mikkel Lebu. And they say, yeah, we need to have a good win against the opponent that we know. And there was Mikkel Lebu, and after the fight, of course, I could finish him, but after the fight, I knew, I beat a guy who comes straight from the UFC, who defeat someone there, who had fight against good opponents. So it was, I was expecting it, but first when you get the call, then you say, okay, it's true.
And how did you celebrate that once you got the call and you realized at that moment you are now a UFC fighter?
Yeah, it was. It was a sunny day. I was outside, and my manager called me and say, "Hey, yeah, we did it." I say, "Wow, crazy!" I hug everybody. I was really happy. And then I think 1 hour ago, I called my family and my closer friends, and we meet each other on the way to that point. I was like I was high. I was like thinking, "Fuck, is it real now? What they talk about? Is it real?" And then I was realizing, yeah, it's real, man. I'm done it. It's my dream. I fight so many years for it. And then I go with my friends and say to everybody, and everybody was happy about it.
Well, now you've had a little bit of a change in opponents. You were supposed to fight Emil Weber-Meek first. He dropped out, and then he gets replaced by Jim Wallhead, who has a pretty different style. I mean, Meek is a very strong striker, lots of knockout power. Wallhead, more of a judo background. How much did this change in opponents affect your fight?
Yeah, at this point I was was like the basic training. I made a lot of cardio, a lot of like technique. Of course, in my head was before MMAnytt, now it's Jimmy Wallhead. I think that's the biggest difference. It's in the head, but I focus on myself. And I mean, Jimmy's nickname is Judo, but I saw in a lot of fights he used not much of judo. He also used a lot of boxing and like traditional like wrestling takedowns. So, and one of the biggest thing I think is like the size, because Valhalla, like MMAnytt, is big, tall, and it's a little bit smaller. But I focus on myself, so I'm cool with it.
In some ways, I think some people could say that this is almost better for it, because Wallhead is probably more well-known than Meek is. I mean, he's a real veteran, Jimmy Wallhead. He's been around for a long time and fought in most of the shows in Europe. Do you think maybe like you get a bit more publicity now to this fight because of a change?
I think both, because MMAnytt, he had like, before he was not known, I think in Europe, after the fight against Palhares, he was like superstar in Europe, everybody knows him. But it was, but Jimmy Wallhead, he's a veteran. Like I used to say, I watched his fights, I don't know how many years ago. He fought Dennis Siver when I was a little kid, and he's a veteran, so of course he got a lot of hype with him, and he has twice as much fights like I had, so it's perfect.
And so when you've got a guy who's so experienced as Jimmy Wallhead, who, like you said, he's got a judo background but does a lot of good boxing, where exactly do you find weaknesses?
Everywhere. I see his strength, and he has, of course, he has good boxing and he has good takedowns. He's strong, he's experienced, but I see myself in every area better. I have for everything an answer. I mean, it's not that I want to say I'm everywhere like he I explain it like better than him, but I see in his also like his strength is boxing and takedowns, but I see also how to stop it. I know how to move well, and we will see on Saturday.
Well, speaking of which, what do you feel, a lot of people are going to see you for the first time on Saturday, because many MMA fans only follow the UFC. So now we're going to get to see you. I mean, probably, a lot of them might not have seen your style before. What do you think they should expect of your fighting style?
Yeah, I expect my movement. I'm a good on my footwork. I export good punches, good kicks, knees, everything. And every fight I fight different, and I go for the finish. And on Saturday, it's like it will be one of the best fights on the card. And everybody after the fight will say, yeah, man, they don't talk about the UFC handbook. They will also put my name in this area and will say, yeah, you saw Jessin's fight, and it will happen.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Danke schön.